Hey everybody, it's Tuesday, so it's a weird night for us. My hat's not straight again. We can't do the show on Thursday. It is my daughter's birthday, and she is way more important than you people. I know. Anyway, once you hit that share button, subscribe to the channel if you would. We're going to talk about some movies that get us in the mood for the spooky season, which is right now. Halloween is approaching. We are finally in October, and it felt like it took forever to get here. But we're going to go through, each of us pick five movies. Jared's not with us tonight, but we've got his five as well that we'll go over. But we do want to hear from you and hear from what you like, get you in the mood for the spooky season, as in the Halloween season. And we are here. And first up tonight, we've got Keith. How you doing?
Hi. Just to
Okay.
clarify, picked five, not including the Halloween franchise.
That's true. That's right. We did not. No Halloween franchise. It's funny because look at my shirt.
Yeah.
What the? My daughter got me a shirt. I was still wearing my undershirt from work because I've been just on the run all afternoon. And that show, I was sitting here, I was like, ooh, I stink. So I needed a different shirt. Then we've got our dear friend Seth Miller. How you doing, buddy?
I'm all right. How are you?
Well, those posters behind you really get me in the mood. But I'd like to see, I know why you have them in that order for the most part, but I'd like to see Dracula more center mass. Get it right there in the middle. Get rid of that Wolfman. No, I'm just joking. The Mummy is the one that kind of pokes out. That was like the worst of the bunch. Not saying it's bad, but
see, I really like the poster though.
Oh, the poster's great.
Poster's beautiful.
Yeah,
it's better than the movie itself.
it's true. I like the sequels.
I'm more of the Mummy's Hand type of guy.
I bet you are. And then we've got Nate with us tonight again. Nathan, trick or treat, my friend.
How y'all doing?
I'm good. I don't know how the people are out there. What's up? What's up? So we're gonna do something kind of special tonight. Nathan has kindly brought his trailer with him. He carried it in a box and was like, here. Handed it over to me, and we're gonna share that momentarily. But after intros, again, we are doing movies that kind of get you in the mood for the spooky season, but not necessarily that take place in October, which I think, did your brain like explode when I tried to explain that to you? Either one of you. I know Nate probably got it right away. But Seth, you sent me over things that you are on your usual rotation. I was like, come on, you watch these all the time. Phantasm 2.
I love Phantasm 2. What can I say?
It's a good one. Let me turn my volume down here. And real fast before we go any further, Keith got to see two movies today, brand new movies. I'm dying to hear what you think of Curse of Frankenstein.
It was pretty good. I like the duality of Peter and Victor. Like I like it a lot better than like the original Frankenstein with Igor. I don't know. I feel like he had somebody to actually like conflict with.
Fritz. The original movie is Fritz.
God damn it.
It's okay. Well, most people think about Igor because of Igor, I think, from Young Frankenstein.
It probably is.
Yeah.
It was funny when we started watching Curse of Frankenstein. I was like looking at Peter Cushing because he's so young. I was like, it's weird seeing him like this. And Kayla's media was like, is that Gene Wilder? We're watching Young Frankenstein, right?
Movie.
I was like, no. But it was weird seeing him so young because I think this is the only time I've ever seen him in anything besides
literally
Star
20
Wars.
years before Star Wars, too.
Yeah, because I know him as Grand Moff.
Grand Moff Tarkin, yeah.
But I really liked it. It's a lot darker. I also like the whole like water bath thing instead of the electricity.
There's I think it's the evil of Frankenstein. It's really kind of dark in that one. And what about the Mummy? What'd you think of the Mummy?
Yeah, that's
most people's reaction.
Yeah, it wasn't that great. Okay, we finished it. Kayla's like, can we just watch Brendan Fraser Mummy from now on? I'm like,
well, you need to watch.
It's kind of hard to compare the two.
The sequels are way better. Watch The Curse of the Mummy, or not Curse of the Mummy. The Mummy. What's your favorite, Seth? The Mummy's Hand.
The Mummy's Hand, yeah.
Yeah.
And actually,
Well, I have them all.
if,
So
if you watch, the original Mummy and the Mummy's Hand, and then watch the Brendan Fraser movie after the '99 one, you'll see where they took a lot from those first two movies.
yeah, I mean, I even watched the first one.
Part
I
two,
can see a lot.
Yeah, well, it's like they took the story of Emotep from the first one, but then they took like the main story of an expedition and all that from the Mummy's Hand. So it's really like a love letter to both of those movies.
Yeah. Plus, they're fun action Indiana Jones type of movies. All right, Nate, you ready to show
Yeah.
your trailer off?
Sure.
You want to give it a little intro, little idea of what's going on for the people?
Yeah, this past Saturday we premiered the new trailer for On a Dark and Bloody Ground, which is the film I've been making for the last 2 years, thanks to COVID. It's we're in post. It's almost done. A few more months. But yeah, we had. I was at Fright Night Film Fest this weekend and decided to do something, bring out the cast and crew, kind of celebrate. We kind of had a little love fest there. We played it in a room by ourselves with just our families and friends, and we just kind of talked to the cast, told stories about when we cast them and everything. So it was really, tear-jerker moment. I know I broke down a couple times, but I almost lost one of them because of COVID. And
you're telling us that.
Yeah, just a few. I mean, it's you become a family when you make films, and so we just kind of had a little family gathering while I premiered it to them. They were the first to see it, and then I put it online later that night. So far the response has been pretty good. So I thought I'd, show it here, and if anybody has questions or anything, I can answer as much as so I don't give things away. But
have you figured a release date yet?
Not yet. There's still a lot of work to be done.
Yeah.
So
all in post now, but we get a good look. This is the second trailer also.
Yeah, the first one was a teaser that we did last year, just a short. Really, we'd only shot half the movie or even less when I did that one, but that was more of like a pep rally kind of thing because we'd just gotten back from COVID and say, hey, let's do something for them so they can see what we're doing here. So it was more for the cast and crew than really for the public. But this is like a full trailer with more story because the first one was kind of like, I handled like the Force Awakens the teaser trailer where it's like, I don't know who these people are or what's going on, but that, just here's glimpses of the movie. But this is more, I think you'll get a little more general idea of what you're going to see.
So let's get to it. You ready to see it? Everybody ready to see it? We will disappear for a couple minutes because it'll just show that, and then we'll talk about it for a couple minutes. Then we'll get to our movies. And yes, Kathy, we are going to be talking about some classics. Absolutely. So without further ado, here is the trailer for On a Dark and Bloody Ground.
I would shiver the whole night through.
Want to hear a scary story?
So I guess you're here about that mess we got.
It's an animal of some sort, but not one I've ever seen before.
He believes what he sees is real.
Can you tell me what it is you think you saw?
Tobacco Man?
What is a tobacco man?
Reminds me of them damn stories.
I've been researching myths on the Dark and Bloody Ground for this book that I've been writing.
Every town has its haunted house.
I know there's an urban legend here, something about Moontown and missing children and monsters.
Dale says people still believe that his ghost haunts that land.
The beast. Been walking this earth since the beginning. Cursed to it.
You've been through hell many times, Leslie. There's a whole lot more out there waiting. For all of us.
can't you see this?
If I accept what this boy believes, I surrender everything that I know. I mean, how does a man make war with the devil himself?
It's easy. You walk out that door with me.
So the first thing that comes to mind when I see that trailer is it's not lit as well as Silver Bullet.
That it isn't.
No, well, honestly, your movie does not look like an indie film, which, you know, when you watch an indie film, you can tell, you know, right away that it's an indie film. It's lit from the trailers, looks very well, but you've got that good eye for cinematography. It looks great, man. I'm really, really excited. That's why I keep asking you for a fucking release date, because I want to see it.
Oh, I mean, anytime people are asking when's it coming, it's a good thing. So
well, here's some stuff. You got looks good and creepy, looks awesome. It does look good and creepy. It looks great. So yeah, got some good responses. Looks awesome. Nathan, can't wait to see it. Yeah, it's gonna be good. I'm sure. It's got the trailer's got a great tone to it. Keith, what do you think of it?
I like the score going on.
Oh, we lost Seth.
It's got that eerie. It's got a very eeriness to it.
Yeah, was that Rocky?
No, actually, Rocky was too busy. I kind of needed one right away, so I actually found that online on one of those royalty-free. Well, you know, I had to buy the license for it, but yeah, I went through a bunch just because Rocky was going to do it, but just for not to stress him out too much because I had to get it done in like 2 days, and I found that, and it just fucking worked. It just really, and it just feels epic.
You got like the beats at the right time. It looks great, man. I'm very happy for you. I think this is going to be the best one yet. It's just got to beat that Volumes of Blood movie, right? No, just joking. Just let us know whenever you do. I really can't wait to see it. I hope you do a physical release as well, so I can have it in my collection and have you sign the undercarriage of it. Like that sounded weird. Never mind.
Undercarriage.
The undercarriage.
Sign
my taint, please.
Is this high school? You're gonna have him sign the crack of your DVD.
But yeah, check it out. If you missed the trailer, we'll play it again at the end of the show. Also, if that's okay with Nate.
Yeah.
And it's also on YouTube. Yeah. Is it?
We have it on the page shared.
It's on our Facebook page as well from the YouTube channel. So definitely check it out. It's going to be good times, and get into indie horror. There's a lot of good indie horror out there. But everything I've seen Nate do, from The Confession of Fred Krueger to Encyclopedia Satanica, I haven't seen your earlier works, but you know, and the Volumes of Blood too. You do very good work. You got a really good eye for the camera. Then again, your mom and dad are Wes Craven and John Carpenter, so it makes sense.
That's right. It's really that comic book background. The composer watched it. He said, "This reminds me. Your compositions. This reminds me of a comic book. It's really cool."
Really?
Yeah. I mean, that's where I learned to tell stories, writing and drawing comic books. So,
as you know, we can't wait to make the trip to see it and meet you guys. My kids are excited, as his wife. Nate, by the way, can I get a bit part in your next movie? Just in the background somewhere. Just want to be there.
Of course. You can always use extras.
Can I get at least one line? You know, like,
one line?
Hey! That's what my
we gotta have like inside jokes, like you and Jared drops his sandwich, his tuna milk sandwich or something.
If you have a scene in a deli, me and Jared are there, and he'll drop his tuna sub. Oh man.
You have to have the whole thing where he doesn't want to go back in and ask for another one.
No, that was hilarious. He looked so dejected and sad. I was like, "What happened, buddy?" It was like he was like a little kid. What happened, buddy? I dropped my sub. I'm like, go get another one. It was pretty funny. I got a picture of him right after the fact. But anyway, yeah. Not nice to keep teasing. Release the movie. He's in
I wish I
post-production
could
now.
snap
So
my
it'll-
fingers.
yeah, it'll be coming soon. We'll keep you guys
I've been
updated,
working
for
on
sure.
this for 6 years. You can wait another few months.
Yeah, unfortunately, like you said, COVID got in the way because I
Yeah.
remember when you started working on it. Started filming back in 2019, I guess it was, wasn't it?
Yeah, October of 2019. And then we didn't do anything through November, December, and January because of my work schedule and everything. And then we filmed for one more month, and then COVID put us down for 7 months.
Yeah, I actually remember when you were casting for it too. I was gonna try to get the role of the kid, but you told me I don't look 12, so
wouldn't work.
No, it wouldn't work. Anyway, we are gonna go ahead and talk about the movies. I guess I don't know where Seth went.
I don't
He
either.
said he's restarting his computer.
Oh, is that what he said?
Yeah, he said that.
I didn't check my messages. He's been having all kinds of trouble. I honestly think it's internet problems in the basement because I get no internet in the basement, period. So, anyway, Nate, thanks again for letting us share the trailer. It does look fantastic. When I saw it late the other night, I was like, man, I know this guy. That's what I thought. I'm like, then I thought about we've been talking, on the show for 2 years now. Of course, I know this guy.
It meant a lot to see all those cast members smiling, huge smiles.
Were they happy?
They were really happy. They're like,
Yeah.
oh,
Good.
yeah. So to make them happy that, because you independent film, you make a lot of movies. Some of them never even get finished or even come out, and a lot of them are just, oh, I wish I hadn't done that kind of movie. So I've heard all the horror stories. So to have them pleased and really excited is, especially after this long,
All right. If Seth looks like he's trying to come back. So let's start with our movies here. And we're doing spooky season movies that are not Halloween. So we're keeping Halloween out of the bunch because that's obvious. And we talk about Halloween a lot as it is. So Seth, welcome back. You're just in time. What'd you think of Nate's trailer before we go?
Me?
Yeah, you.
Dumpster fire.
Am I freezing up?
No, I was just asking what you thought of Nate's trailer.
Oh, I'm curious, Nathan. Which version of Jay in this movie?
Which version of what? I couldn't hear.
I think you said which version of Jason.
Yeah.
Which version of Jason is this? Oh, this is a direct sequel to Manhattan.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah. Yeah, I got a cameo from somebody in that movie. I don't remember who it was.
See, now we make like a spoof of yours, and it's like on a dark and campy ground. And we just make it like super campy.
I'll get the writing. All right, we're gonna start this off. We're doing.
I just want to make sure people support it.
Yeah. Creepy season movies. I've got 5 from each of you, and then we've got Jared's. We'll go over Jared's at the end of the show, towards the end of the show. But the first one I want to start with was an older one. It's Nate, one of Nate's picks. It's the Old Dark House.
Yes.
Nate, tell us why you picked this one.
Because
I know why, but
yeah, it's one of my favorite, if not my favorite, Universal movie. I got to buy my poster here. I saw this movie. I don't remember when it was. Probably 20 years ago, and maybe even longer ago, 25 years. I just loved it. It's got like that feeling, like for me, Halloween. Watching movies on Halloween. What I want is a stormy night, and I want to turn out the lights. I want to be in a dark room, and just be enveloped by the atmosphere of that. And the Old Dark House is just atmosphere to 11. It's just the old mansion, the creaky walls, the wind blowing outside, the curtains blowing from the wind, and long corridors, and I mean, it's that classic travelers stuck on the road in a rainy night take refuge in an old dark house, and the weird family that lives there. And the family themselves are afraid of their own family members. I mean, that's what's kind of creepy. So, like, we're hearing about all these people that live her in the family that, oh, we have a brother we lock in a room upstairs. Well, who is that guy? And so it's all this, and it's just fun too. It's got that fun, but like it's James Well, and like anything James Well made is just fantastic. He is easily the best filmmaker of that era in horror, in my opinion. He can't beat Frankenstein and Bride of Frankenstein and The Invisible Man. And The Old Dark House, to me, is the underrated one of those. Like, it should be more famous. It just doesn't have an iconic monster, basically. But it does have Boris Karloff, though. Mm-hmm. And I don't know. I freaking love the movie. It's what, when I think of Halloween and that feeling, this is a movie that I think you pop on and you'll immediately be in that mood that you want for Halloween. I think
we've talked about this one before. I still have not seen it.
So there's 2 versions of it, isn't there? Or maybe a couple.
William Castle remade it in the 60s, and it's not as good. Yeah.
I don't know if I've seen that one. I've seen this one, and they just remastered this, I believe, for 4K, Keith. So it's right up your alley.
Oh,
yeah, yeah.
New crisp disc.
Yeah, you gotta get it. It's a good one for sure. Atmosphere is king.
Titanic fans will know. Gloria Stewart, the one that played Kate Winslet as an older woman, is the star of this one. So,
is it really?
Yeah, the blonde main girl in the movie is Gloria Stewart.
I didn't realize that. I didn't know she was young once.
No. 80 he is.
That's how it works.
Yeah, that's how it works. All right. So I'm going to go through these randomly. Not going to go through everybody's pick right away. So the next one I'm going to do is one of mine, which is Dracula, the Universal classic. I think it's nostalgia for me when it comes to this one. Seeing it for the first time on a Halloween when I was 13, right around midnight, got home from hanging out with my friends. I remember we were scaring trick-or-treaters. We were assholes. And they were doing a Universal-a-thon. And at that point, I'd only seen Hammer stuff because my mom was a big Hammer fan. And she had like copies of the Hammer films on VHS, like 3 or 4 to a movie. But this was on, so I watched this, Bride of Frankenstein, and then Dracula was the last one. It was the main feature, and fuck, I loved it. Everything that Bela Lugosi does is so iconic, and he's the reason, he's the template for what Dracula looks like from here on out,
Yeah.
Plus, you got great performances from Dwight Fry.
He's almost tops Bela.
he steals the show in just about everything he's in, doesn't he?
Yeah.
I absolutely love him. And then I'm blanking on Van Helsing's name, even though I said it like 3 times to my son today. But Edward Van Sloan, yeah.
Edward Van Sloan.
Yeah, such a good movie. He's in Bride of Frankenstein. Or is he in Frankenstein? Yeah, Frankenstein, right? Yeah. Anyway, I love it. So that's it.
And the Mummy.
The thing about I was thinking that how, like, even though I grew up in the 70s and 80s, when Halloween season came around, that's who you saw. Freddy, Jason, all that really wasn't part of the merchandise and the selling. When Halloween came around in the 80s, it was all about Dracula, Frankenstein's monster, the Mummy, Wolfman. They represented this season. Growing up as a kid, Freddy and Jason and all didn't you didn't see that. You saw Dracula. We all dressed up like Dracula. We all dressed up. I mean, I don't know. I was Dracula at least twice. I know.
Me too.
That.
I was Dracula into my late 20s. So
and it was Bela Lugosi Dracula. There wasn't any other Dracula to do.
Well, I tried pulling off the Christopher Lee look because Christopher Lee was like the first one with fangs, and I wanted to have. But remember those fangs that you could just stick on your teeth or whatever? I had to get those, and I had to
candy corn.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, when I was growing up, this was the big thing: was watching these. Did Universal release it? Because if Universal releases, it's a Universal movie.
I don't think that was a Universal release.
I don't think Freaks is Universal.
No.
Yeah.
No.
If it's a Universal release,
is from Todd.
Universal
it is from Todd Brown and.
Yeah.
Louisville native.
It's a MGM. Released Freaks.
Yep.
But let's move on to the next one if you guys don't mind. We're gonna go with one from Sethy Poo. Seth, indulge us.
Well, I guess you kind of challenged me to pick stuff that wasn't on my normal rotation.
And here you go.
But
You
this
pick one
is
that's in your
definitely exactly. I couldn't help it. I had to throw. This is one of my favorite ones. I just love the, Larry Talbot only got to be, have sequels through these mashup movies, and it was a good continuator. I really liked how they brought back Maria Openseska as Maleva. I really the dynamic with all the characters. Elsa Frankenstein was really a cool opinion. I just like it. I think the follow up to the Wolfman. So there's that.
Yeah, it's a sequel to multiple films, really. But it's a direct follow up to the Wolfman, though, right?
Yeah, it's equal to the Wolfman and Ghost of Frankenstein, except they didn't commit to the end of Ghost of Frankenstein, which would have made more sense based on how Bela acts. But
yeah, it's a really good one. That whole series, starting with really really Dracula. You could watch all of them in order, with skipping a few, but this really kicks off its own kind of series with the House of Frankenstein and a couple other ones after that, the Ghost of Frankenstein, and because the Wolfman's in all of those, isn't he?
I believe so.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll do this. I've never seen this before. This is one of Keith's choices. Monster House. I've never seen it before. I've heard of it, but I've never seen it.
It's so good. It's like it's like an animated Spielberg film.
Really?
Yeah, it's like it's very Goonies-esque.
Ray, watch this with your kids this weekend. It is fantastic.
It's really good.
One of my favorite animated films. It really is great.
It's very Goonies. It's set in the 80s, and like it's literally like that kid that's in the picture. He's the main character. And
I thought that was you.
Oh, and that house is across the street.
Oh, it's on Netflix.
Is it?
Yeah.
Good.
I'll definitely watch it.
Yeah, the house is across the street from him, and there's like this old man who lives at it, and he's like the stereotypical like get off my lawn and like steals your toys.
Buscemi.
And yeah, it's Steve Buscemi.
Steve Buscemi,
and like I don't want to like spoil it.
You want to be a dead person?
He's absurd.
Yeah.
It has a lot of voice actors in it.
The little girl, the babysitter too is great. It's Maggie Gyllenhaal, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's great, and the little Girl Scout. Yeah, it's just fucking great.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of characters in it. There's two cops in it that are just absurd. Like one's like super serious, like mall cop, and the other one's just like a goofball. But like the house like has something sinister about it, and like it comes to life, but like only like none of the adults ever see it. So it's got that like plot device that's in a lot of movies fun. Where only the kids see it, but not the adults. But you don't know if it's because they're imagining it or if it's real. But you got to watch the movie to figure out the whole thing. But like it actually is like kind of dark for a kids movie in certain aspects.
Yeah, but it does have that kind of Monster Squad Goonies vibe that you're talking about. The characters, the way they interact with each other,
and the animation
adventure.
style. The animation
really
style's weird. It's like CGI claymation almost.
Kind of like what Tim Burton does, or
it has like a claymation like
kind of has that
texture
Frankenweenie
look to
style to it.
Yeah, but it's like CGI.
Okay.
I don't know. It's very fun and dark, and it's set on Halloween too.
Yeah.
Oh, to check that out with the kids for sure. Okay, we're gonna run through Jared's real fast since he's not here. One of them, Keith, you shared, which is Trick or Treat.
Mm-hmm.
Which is definitely a fun Halloween-esque movie. Parrot with Paranorman. I've never seen that one either.
Paranorman's good.
But yeah, Trick or Treat's a really fun movie. I think, do we all like this one? I think we do.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
I like it.
It's weird because it was not very well received, I believe, and it had a hard time getting released. But it's a favorite around the house here. My kids love it. They love Sam. We celebrate Sam's rules, because of this movie. Well, I mean, it's cool having rules for Halloween, right? Leave the decorations up and whatever. But yeah, I love it.
What's your guys' favorite segment in it?
That one
This
right
one?
there, the school
Yep, that
girl,
one.
the bus. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
And
fantastic.
Brian Cox is phenomenal in this movie.
I like the teacher and his son.
I do too. The teacher and the son.
They're
Yeah.
so absurd.
Yeah. What's with you and absurd today?
I like that word.
Word of the
alright?
day, toilet paper. Is that...
We should have got a
Okay.
sequel. It is finally breaking out because I was at Spirit Halloween, and
Oh, yeah.
there's a ton of Sam stuff this year. Ton of
We
trick or
have
treat
so
stuff.
Sam on our front door. Actually,
I want to get them. They have even the mask, the kids' masks. I want to get
That's
the Dracula
cool.
mask and all that.
Yeah, why isn't there a sequel? Like at this point, it's been what 12 years since they finally got to release it. Like almost 15 since they made it. It's like, come on,
Yeah.
you could have made a bunch of these by now.
It got a comic book just like Leslie Vernon.
I don't want a comic book. I mean, as a comic book fan, I want a movie, just like I want a Leslie Vernon movie. All right, next on Jared's list, The Barn, which is an independent horror movie created by Justin Seaman, friend of the show. ScreamTeamReleasing.com if you want to get a copy. It's another Rules of Halloween movie. Takes place in 1989. These kids are going to a concert or something. I can't remember exactly what they're doing, but they find this barn that's abandoned. There's 3 monsters come out and wreak havoc amongst the town. It's a pretty fun movie.
Cheese ball fun.
Yeah, I got to do some artwork for that.
That's right.
Before
You
it
did
came out.
the cover, didn't you?
I did a T-shirt and I did the board game that came out. They released the board game, and I designed the board game and the box and everything.
It's a fun movie. It may be streaming somewhere. I have no idea, but if you haven't seen it, it's worth buying. ScreamTeamReleasing.com. You could probably get it before Halloween if you get it now. And he's a friend, so let's support indie horror. Nate's indie horror, so
we did Volumes of Blood together.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
And Volumes of Blood's available at Scream Team Releasing also. Next up on Jared's list, we've got The Exorcist. What needs to be said about The Exorcist? Not much. It's an iconic movie.
Yeah, we did do a whole episode.
We did do a whole episode on it. So The Exorcist is a must-watch during the Halloween season. I agree. Next up, another movie that is a must-watch. Night of the Living Dead. What needs to be said about this? Did we do an episode on this?
I believe I think we touched on it because it was in our decade-defining.
Yeah. Maybe not the top movie from the 60s, but it's definitely top 5.
Top 3 for me, I think.
Top 3, yeah. I would say, top 3. This, Psycho, Rosemary's Baby are my 3.
Yeah, those 3 are just amazing.
The best movies of the decade.
But yeah, Night of the Living Dead has that Halloween feel. Like it's one of those classic black and white. I get maybe because they watch it in like Halloween. It's a Halloween 2 and they're watching it. And,
yep.
Think so.
My favorite scene in all of Halloween, the Elrod house scene. Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, I just that music and everything, because that's the thing about like Night of the Living Dead was kind of an ushering of new horror, but it still had classic horror in it. Like it still felt like the classic horror. It was just one step, forward in many ways, but still just foot back in vintage Universal classic horror.
Yeah, there's something about black and white movies for me, I think, that really kind of bring the feeling of this time home. Scott Montgomery says it might be on Tubi or Shudder. I don't think it's on Shudder. It's probably on Tubi. Yeah, Night of the Living Dead also, Barbara talks about a time change. Is it Halloween time? I don't know. I don't know if they're going into summer. What's that?
Definitely looks like the fall.
Yeah, it does. But they do. I think she does mention a time change. The final one for Jared is just a fun kind of family movie, Beetlejuice. Although he's a pervert, so maybe not a family movie, but my kids have seen it.
It's so good.
It is good.
Yeah.
We've come for your daughter, Chuck.
There's a lot of people who don't like to punch this in with horror, and I'm like, how? How can you not put this in with horror?
It's so good.
It is. It's a fun movie.
It's a horror.
Not to mention you're talking
comedy.
about a dead. Yeah, it's fucking people who hate horror comedies can suck my dick.
Well, okay, so let me ask, I do have a question.
Okay.
Nate says they can suck my dick and he goes down. Anyway, let me ask you a question, okay? Because I there was a couple movies that I was like, does this belong in my collection? First of all, Young Frankenstein belongs in the collection, right? The horror collection. What about the scary movies?
Turn of the Living Dead.
Well, yeah.
Shaun of the Dead.
Would you put scary movie though? You know, like
in the horror? Yeah, it's a horror movie.
Okay. I don't have them. That's what I was
Yeah, there's just differences with them. Like Young Frankenstein is like at its
nice fucking
core,
model.
I love
it's completely a comedy.
Sorry,
I've seen Exorcist 167 times.
I was just saying,
funnier.
The horror comedies have different levels of horror and comedy mixed in. Like Shaun of the Dead has like a lot more gore and horror in it versus comedy. Younger Frankenstein is like comedy.
Younger Frankenstein?
Shut up.
All right.
It's pronounced Young Frankenstein, not Igor.
It's Frederick Frankenstein.
Frankenstein.
All right. So next up, we for Seth. If anybody can't tell what this is Hellbound Hellraiser 2.
Dun dun dun.
Excuse you for what?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Good. Seth, you got anything you want to say? Are you there?
Yeah, this is my favorite Hellraiser film, period. I absolutely love this. I think it's a great sequel. It's a great follow-up to the first one. You know, the score is awesome. It really elevates the first one. I really like the first two, the way that they're companion pieces with each other.
Yeah.
But part two just really takes it up a notch for me. And it's one of the only movies that I've seen where there's a particular scene where I kind of have to like turn away a little bit. And
What scene?
With the guy who thinks he has all the guy who thinks he has all the bugs on him.
The bugs.
Oh yes.
He's just self-made, and I don't know. It's
a good scene.
Yeah, that's just yeah. It's a pretty gruesome scene. Yeah, but I'm a huge fan of the whole Hellraiser franchise. But part two is definitely my favorite one of those. And I do have to say, Julia is an underrated horror villain.
100%.
Definitely deserves more credit because she's great.
I agree with you on that. Seth has a ranking of the Hellraiser franchise on the HorrorSyndicate.com. Check it out. Now, Nate, you've got one that I've never seen before. It's called With the Lady in White.
Yeah, 1988.
I feel like I have seen this based off this image, but tell us about it.
Yeah, well, like it's one I haven't watched a ton. I watched it when it came out, and it's one of those movies you forget about, and then it comes back and like, why is this not huge? Why is this not bigger than it is? Because it's like this. It's set in the early '60s. Lucas Haas, he's a little boy who, it's like one of those coming of age type movies set in October during our Halloween time, and the kids lock him up in a coat room at school. It's one of those old classic schools, and he's in there and he sees a ghost, a little girl being murdered, like a reenactment, like reliving it in the coat room. So it's one of those murder mysteries where someone murdered this little girl, and there's like a whole serial killer who's murdered a bunch of children in town, and like this boy is seeing these ghosts and apparitions to try to solve and find out who did it. And like they wrongfully arrested a janitor because he was in the building. So it's one of these murder mystery ghost films set in October in small American town, and it's just but it's also kind of like it's something the family could watch too. It's a little rough at times, but it's not a hard rated horror movie. It's very kind of down home, classic Norman Rockwell type movie, basically.
I don't think anybody could watch it. Look at the prices. You get a DVD for $20, but gee, look at these. 200, $300.
I guess it's not in print anymore.
That's insane.
Blu-ray, $17, right?
This will give Scream Factory something to do. And Nate should do the art. There you go. I always say that though. Yeah, I think I've seen that, but it must have been when I was younger, and it's back in the memory I got to get into my memory warehouse like in Dreamcatcher. Let's see, who haven't we done in a bit? Me. Let's do me. Let's talk about Son of Frankenstein, the best of the Frankenstein franchise. If I'm wrong, please say so. Nope. Okay, good. So, really, first of all, I want to talk about Bela Lugosi's performance in this. May top his performance as Dracula. He plays fucking Igor. God damn it.
Igor. Yeah.
The best part, one of the best parts about him is he's got a fucking broken neck.
It's spelled with a Y.
Right, spelled with a Y. It's YG. Anyway, he's got a broken neck for grave robbing, which never happened in the first movie. So there's a little bit of disconnect. Basil Rathbone is fucking phenomenal. Lionel Atwill is phenomenal. And this is the last time Karloff plays the monster, I believe. And it may be one of his better performances as the monster, in my opinion. It's a great movie. I don't think it's streaming anywhere, but I absolutely fucking love this movie. I saw it when I was younger, but I think it was 29 or 30 when I saw it again. Finally, I bought it on DVD. It was a 2-pack with, I think it was The House of Frankenstein, or Frankenstein meets one of them. And I saw this again. I'm like, holy shit! Why haven't I seen this more? And it's just a phenomenal movie, a great chapter, and kind of kicks off the second round of the Universal monsters, because they kind of wound down a little bit after the Bride of Frankenstein, and then I think they re-released some of their older ones, and they brought this back out with bigger budget too, and plus they stopped making them at 75 minutes and started making them longer with this one. This one's it's an hour and 40-minute marathon. How do I really feel about it? I love it.
There was a.
What's that?
There was a change up at There was a change up at Universal at the time, that a change of ownership, and whoever took it over after Carl Lamille didn't want to do horror movies anymore. But they found that when they did their re-releasing of the classics, that they were popular, and so they
moneymakers
decided to bring it back.
Yeah. The budgets went up like crazy.
But there's a period where.
Yeah, as I said, the budgets went up, and you can tell the set design in this movie is fucking awesome. Check it out if you've never seen it. It's an absolute must, Keith. So check it out.
I'll watch it. I'll say people complain that stuff now is a money grab, even back then. Like, DVDs are selling. Let's make another one.
I'll buy. I don't have these in high def, but I'd like to get a high def version of this. They have the poster on my wall in the living room. Ugh. All right, let's do this one.
Yes.
Haunt, which came out in 2019. I believe it's on Shudder currently.
Should be. Watch it with Joe Bob.
Oh yeah, that's right. He did do that. This is it's shot in Southern Illinois too. Pretty cool movie. Go ahead and talk about it.
It's so fun. I actually sent you this picture because this is like one of my favorite parts in the movie. Because he just walks in and asks he just thinks the ghost is employee. If anybody hasn't seen it, it's literally like
and this is the one that's like helping them too, isn't it?
Well, that's the thing. Like, he's just walking around, and this guy like comes out of nowhere, and he just stands there all menacing. And the guy like keeps talking to him and like asking for help because one of his friends are hurt, and he just sits there. And then like out of nowhere, he's like, "Oh, hey, yeah, I'll help you."
Nate, have you seen Haunt?
Yeah, I really liked it. Yeah, I'm kind of kicking myself because like 20 years ago, I wrote a movie like that. I was like, why has no one made a horror movie at a haunt where like one of the workers is a killer, because no one would know, And,
right.
There's been a couple, I think.
Yeah, it came out really like good. It came out like right with Hellfest, and like everybody talks about Hellfest. And I'm like, Haunt is way better than Hellfest.
I bought Hellfest. That's still watched it.
I mean, it's not bad. It's just I don't know. It doesn't have like a lot of material going on. Like most of the movies,
like
walking around.
It's like Observe and Report was overshadowed by Mall Cop and Paul Blart.
I will say Observe and Report is better, but I didn't care for it.
I love it.
No, Haunt. If you haven't seen Haunt, watch it. You can watch it on Shudder or watch it with Joe Bob,
which is on Shudder.
Yeah, Joe Bob actually introduced me to it. So.
Yeah, I think I kept seeing it pop up online with all the horror collectors buying it in 2019 or whenever it was released, and I was like, that looks interesting, and it happened to be on Shudder, so I watched it.
Yeah, it's produced by Eli Roth.
You also had the houses that October built.
I still have never
Pretty
seen
decent.
that. I see that
pretty
I like
good
those.
too.
time.
They're different. They're not too bad. Those and they're different, but Hell House LLC. If nobody's ever seen those,
Yeah, that's a good too.
Yeah, there's a third one. They want to make a fourth one, but they can't get funding for it, which really sucks. I hate when that happens. So Nate, tell us about The Dark Knight of the Scarecrow. I've never seen this. This is
I have
Nate
not
G,
either.
right?
You've not
seen
seen
a
this
lot.
either? Man, this is one of the best TV movies.
Is it better than Silver Bullet?
It's very better than Silver Bullet. It came out in 1981. It's about small town USA. There's this young girl who befriends a mentally challenged man named Bubba, who's played by Larry Drake, and she ends up getting mauled by a dog, but no one knows it. He saves her life. He finds her. He takes her home, but there's a mailman played by Charles Durning who hates him, doesn't like this, mentally handicapped man, and especially messing around with kids. And they just assumed that Bubba murdered her or killed her since he's carrying her body. And kind of like, the John Coffey thing, I guess, wasn't it, in Green Mile? Yeah. And so the mailman and two other men hunt him down. They're trying to kill him, lynch him. And his mother hides him in the corn, like a cornfield, like dresses him up in the scarecrow outfit and puts him out in the field. And they figure it out and they murder him in the field as he's dressed like the scarecrow. And then they turn to find out the little girl survived. She wasn't dead, and it was the dogs. It wasn't him. So they murdered an innocent man. And then I think 1 year later, he haunts them and gets revenge on them. And it's just great.
So we can get it for $15 on Amazon on Blu-ray.
Definitely worth it.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna pick that one up. I've like seen this so many times, like not in the movie itself, but people talking about it, and I've never seen it, and I don't know what's. I guess because I have this rule: if I've never seen it, I got to see it before I buy it. But lately, I've been blind buying things, so and
I don't think you can be disappointed. I don't think you'll be disappointed. It's kind of like a slasher film, but not a slasher film. But it's better than most of those slasher films of that time.
When did this come out? Was that early 80s or
1981? Yeah.
Okay.
So, and JD, who's the writer, has been working on the sequel for years. he's been shooting it. I don't know. Yeah.
It's available on Amazon Prime to rent for 99 cents. I could do that, but why not just pay the extra 14? That's stupid. Anyway, let's move on to another Sethy. We'll talk about Fright Night for a minute, Seth.
Yeah, that's it's I would say my favorite vampire film. I love it. I think it's a lot of fun. Amber and I watched this a lot. Yeah, I don't know what really a whole lot to say about it. It's just got a lot of fun characters. I love Roddy McDowell. I love how cowardly he is as Peter Vincent. Evil Ed, he's funny as hell. Got a great score. I love what's his name as Jerry Dandridge, Chris Sarandon. I think he's really good. It's just overall, it's just a fun movie to watch, and there's something about it that always reminds me of like October. Maybe I associate when I saw it. I haven't seen it in quite a bit, but like I said, Amber and I watched this one a lot. I also love part 2 as well.
Yeah, part 2 is underrated, and it needs a rightful good Blu-ray release.
Yeah.
So yeah, I agree with you. I think it's one of the best vampire flicks out there, especially from the 80s. Good stuff.
Yeah.
Nate, we're gonna go back to you because we might be getting close on time.
Yep.
So let's start. We'll do back-to-back Nates. Ed Wood. When I saw this on the list, I laughed. Not because of the pick, because I love this movie. I don't know how factual it is, but I wish I would have known Ed Wood if this was factual.
Yeah. This is like my favorite Tim Burton movie. I saw it the weekend it came out. I was the only one in the theater, unfortunately.
Really?
Yeah, it did not do well. But I don't know why. It's like there's one Halloween scene in it, where Bela's hanging out with Ed at his house and the trick-or-treaters come and he scares them with Dracula. Yeah, it's a great scene. But the overall feel of it just feels like Halloween to me. The soundtrack, you know, Vampira, Bela Lugosi, and just I don't know, it's just a fun movie. And I guess again the black and white thing we talk about. Bill Murray's always hilarious. He's great as Bunny in this, and I don't know. I think it's a wonderful celebration of B horror movie.
Well, not just that. Bela Lugosi and Martin Landau was amazing in that role. I thought
Martin won an Oscar for his performance, and that he beat Samuel Jackson from Pulp Fiction in this. So he's wonderful.
He did.
And yeah, it was going to be between him and Sam Jackson, Pulp Fiction, and Martin won. And you know, Johnny Depp's probably my favorite Johnny Depp movie. I think he's great as Ed.
Really, it's not A Nightmare on Elm Street.
That's my favorite Johnny Depp movie.
This is your favorite movie with Johnny Depp. This is a Johnny Depp movie. There we go. I was going to say, what about Trick or Treat from '86? I thought about putting that on my list, but I don't watch it enough because there's not a proper release of it.
I haven't seen that movie in forever.
Martin Landau was amazing. Yes, he was. And then Nate's final pick is the Blair Witch Project. Spoiler alert, this is the
end. Well, I mean, it's set in October. There's definitely Halloween decorations when they're interviewing people in the town of Burkittsville.
It screams fall. It's got those fall vibes.
Yeah, it's fall, and it's there's a witch. So what more can you want than being stuck in the woods in the fall at night, where the woods are haunted by a witch, and the folklore. Huge influence on my new film, because the whole new film is all about folklore, and I just really loved the whole Rustin Parr and the Blair Witch and all the little stories that people know, that people talk around town, that no one really talks about, but people know about. And I always love that folklore that's been passed down from generation to generation, and twisted and turned, and what's true and what's not. And so that's to me the funnest part of Blair Witch is its history. Like, I love the documentary The Curse of Blair Witch, where they really
great companion
explore that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we even talked about doing a documentary for my film based on the legends.
Could I have a part
that they talk about?
I want to be the town historian, like that old guy with the big beard, you know. Blair was founded on a town called Burkittsville. You know what I'm talking about?
I always love the wizard guy, the magician guy.
Oh, yeah. Well, that role would absolutely have to, even though he's in the movie, would have to go to, what's his name? That played Freddy. God. I feel stupid for not remembering his name. Yeah, Your buddy that played Freddy. God, Kevin Roach. God, there we go.
Well, Kevin's in Dark and Bloody, so
I know. So you couldn't have him in that, but he'd be great as the wizard guy. For sure. All right, Nate, how much longer you got? Because I want to show you a trailer again before you bounce.
About 5 minutes.
Okay, so let's do 2 more, and then we've got a few more to go, and then we'll show Nate's trailer so he can get going. And then we'll start with Sleepy Hollow.
Yes.
Tim Burton film. Yeah. Again, this one captures the season, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah. That opening, that shot right there, when they're going in the wagon and they're passing the cornfield, and that jack-o'-lantern, that scarecrow and all that, it's like, oh, my God, I'm instantly in Halloween. Like, this is October. This is what it's supposed to be. Like, I grew up, like, one of the things, elementary school in the early 80s, that I looked forward to every October was my school always showed us The Legend of Sleepy Hollow, the Disney movie with Ichabod Crane, and I still love that thing so much today. That was Halloween for me. That was October, and so to see this movie written by the guy who wrote Seven, and Tim Burton teaming up, it was I loved it. And the cast, I mean, Christopher Walken is the Headless Horseman.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I picked it because of mostly the setting, and it also has it's not a black and white movie, but it's a very like dull gray movie.
It's very gothic though, That's one of the appeals to it. It's very gothic.
And then I always think about the scene where the Headless Horseman's going through that big arch of trees, and all the leaves are blowing with the horse running through, and And then obviously his home, the giant dead tree.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and this is a good pick. That absolutely to me screams this season. You know, I like it. Seth, do you like this one? Is it in the horror collection?
I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I loved it the moment that I saw it in the theater. I need to upgrade to Blu-ray for this one.
I feel like it's underrated. I don't hear a lot of people talk about it. Like,
yeah, I think you're right. Yeah.
I forget about it from time to time. Like when we made this list, it escaped my
here.
memory. You know,
it was when I watched a lot as a kid. I think that's why it was in my memory.
I don't know why that sounded funny to me. That's why it was in my memory. I don't know why that's funny to me. That's why it's in my memory. You sound like a pompous turd. That's why it was in my memory.
Wow.
As a child of the 90s.
I was a child. I remember seeing it. Like, I was amped for it because I heard Christopher Lee. He only had a small part. I've loved Christopher Lee since I was like 10 or 11 years old. But he had a very small part, but it was so cool to see him. Because I don't remember seeing him in anything up to that point. So I think it was in Gremlins 2. And then I don't think I remember seeing him in anything. And that kind of like catapulted him into other things because he ended up in Lord of the Rings and Star Wars after that. Mm-hmm. And he released his heavy metal albums. So I love Christopher Lee, if anybody didn't know him.
Then he was a dentist in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Yeah, that's right. He was in well, he became kind of frequent with Tim Burton movies, didn't he?
Yeah.
Jabberwocky and Alice in Wonderland. Speaking of Christopher Lee, this is one of my favorites. Any of them, really. The Horror of Dracula, Prince of Darkness. I couldn't pick one. We'll just go with the first one. I'm a big fan of Hammer. Like I said, my mom had all the tapes dubbed. I don't know where she got them from, but they were all. It was like a fucking carbon copy of a carbon copy of a carbon copy when I got to watch these. But this is how I discovered Christopher Lee, not Peter Cushing because he was in Star Wars, of course. But I like this was the first Dracula I ever saw. And I saw all of them. Well, not all of them. I never saw the 7 Golden Vampires, which Christopher Lee's not even in. But I did see all of them through, I think, Dracula 1972 AD, which is ridiculous. But I love Hammer horror through and through. I'm glad Keith has taken his first steps into a larger hood. Hammer horror is a lot of fun. It's so different from Universal because they couldn't use Universal rights because in fear of being sued. So
the bad thing is half of them aren't streaming, which means I have to buy them.
Yes. Well, I just bought all the Frankensteins this year. I bought the Draculas the year before that. I got the Mummy. I got Curse of the Werewolf, which Scream Factory's bringing out a lot of them now. But we're gonna go short on that. Nate, you ready for the trailer one more time?
Sure.
Let's do it. Nate's trailer for On a Dark and Bloody Ground. Here we go.
I would shiver the whole night through.
Want to hear a scary story?
So I guess you're here about that mess we got.
It's an animal of some sort, but not one I've ever seen before.
He believes what he sees is real.
Can you tell me what it is you think you saw?
Tobacco Man?
What is a tobacco man?
Reminds me of them damn stories.
I've been researching myths on the dark and bloody ground for this book that I've been writing.
Every town has its haunted house. I know there's an urban legend here, something about Moontown and missing children and monsters.
Dale says people still believe that his ghost haunts that land.
The beast. Been walking this earth since the beginning. Cursed to it.
You've been through hell many times, Leslie. There's a whole lot more out there waiting. For all of us.
If I accept what this boy believes, I surrender everything that I know. I mean, how does a man make war with the devil himself?
It's easy. You walk out that door with me.
Awesome. Nate, thanks again for letting us share that. Check out On the Dark and Bloody Ground on Facebook for updates. Don't friend Nate. He'll just delete it because he doesn't want to. No. Check him out on Facebook, and then there is
original movie
on YouTube as well. What's that?
And it's an original movie too for everyone who bitches about remakes and sequels and all that. So
it's not a fan film. It's not. It's 100% original.
Exactly.
Yeah, I've been seeing a lot of posts like that, people sharing it, saying, "Hey, you want something original?"
Yeah. It is 100% original from the brain of Nate, and some of the legends you talk about in this are real Kentucky legends, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of. I studied a lot of Kentucky folklore, and Kevin's character talks about a lot of Kentucky folklore in it. We've got the Pope Lick Monster and the Waverly Hill Sanatorium, and there's all kinds of cool stuff. It's funny. There's one scene where Kevin's talking about his character's a writer of occult stuff, and he gets really overly excited. And he's talking to the sheriff, who's basically a straight man, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, what? There's a lot of fun elements. The movie has the creepy stuff that you see from the trailer and the action, and it's a little bit of a Western. It's a very dramatic movie, but also have humor, because I think stuff like Jaws and all that has just everything in it, and I wanted that kind of feel to it. And there's lost my train of thought. There's just I just wanted a whole lot. Nicholas Brendan, who's from Buffy the Vampire Slayer, you might have recognized him in the trailer, possibly. He's the one that says it's an animal of some sort, but not one I've ever seen. That's Nicholas Brendan, Xander from Buffy the Vampire Slayer, who was a hilarious, and he said a lot of my script, but I let him go off, and just because the guy's genius and funny as hell. And he's a great comic relief in the film. But it's not a comedy. I said something about suck my dick if you don't like horror. That was horror comedy. That was more that people just like, well, that's not a horror. That's not horror. It's comedy, blah, blah, blah. It's like, look, Beetlejuice is horror and comedy. It's both. It's not, it's not Beverly Hills Cop. It's something else. So anyway, I appreciate you showing it.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead, man.
No, I didn't know if I'm done. I got to get going, but yeah.
Thanks for showing us the trailer and sharing your picks with us for tonight. Have a great evening, Nate, and we'll see you again soon, I'm sure.
Dude, there you go.
Yeah.
All right. I am looking forward to that. It does look legit. Like I know you guys know what I'm talking about when I say there are movies that are indie films that look indie. This one does not look indie at all.
There's a film quality, picture quality to them, and usually they also have their FPS turned up way too freaking high.
Is that what it is?
It's most of the time.
We're not going anywhere, Luke. Stay with us.
Because movies are usually shown at, I think it's 24 FPS, I think. And some people,
that's what it is.
And some people will shoot at 60 FPS, and it makes it super
because I watched some of these indie movies, and I'm like, what is going on? This doesn't look like a real film.
After
Lombardo's movie looked really good, and excuse me, somebody else's, I can't remember. The Barn was definitely indie looking
after the show. Go on YouTube and look up movie in 24 FPS versus 60. And they'll show you a side by side. You'll see what I'm talking about.
I remember a couple years ago they started doing that 120 hertz stuff, and it made it look really weird. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, you can. You're talking about on your TV. You can turn that stuff down because
Okay.
there's like a smooth setting on most TVs and it makes it look like a soap opera kind of. A lot of
Yeah.
people call it soap opera effect.
I gotta find. I don't like it. We were at my friend's house the other night, and they were watching like that. I was like, I can't even handle this. It was just give me a little bit of a headache. All right, let's get back to our picks. We've got one from Seth here, and it's Psycho 2.
Yeah, I love this sequel. You would think that no sequel to a Hitchcock movie should even stand close to it, and this does. I really appreciate the story of it and how they really made Norman kind of sympathetic as he's trying to get better, but then naturally Lila kind of likes to push his buttons because of her reasons, which are pretty understandable. She doesn't want him to be out there, but it's kind of tragic too because her daughter gets pulled into it. And then right down to that ending, that's like one of my favorite endings ever. When I first watched it, I just burst out laughing. Like I was just, yeah,
I was like thrown off by that. I was like, holy shit.
Yeah. And I kind of wish part 3 didn't take away that twist at the end either, but
yeah,
Psycho 2 is fantastic.
I like 3 too, but yeah, I agree with you. Part 2 is a really good follow-up. It's hard to follow up a movie like Psycho. We have a question. It says, when a casual movie watcher asks for a horror movie to watch that they probably have never heard of, what is your go-to recommendation? That's a really fucking good question.
Well, it's hard to say, like, because if they've probably never heard of.
Well,
so I'm guessing
first of all, if they're a regular, they've heard of The Exorcist. They've heard of Halloween. They've heard of
Jaws and stuff.
Yeah, they've heard of all that stuff. So, man, go ahead, Seth.
I'd recommend Terror Firmer to them, so then they would never ask me again. I don't know if you've seen that. Terror Firmer. It's a trauma movie.
Oh my god!
It's pretty.
I don't know what to say about that.
And no one will ever ask me again.
That's a very good question. It's hard to answer because you could go with almost anything.
Well, I would imagine it has to be something that's not like super graphic and gory. But
because I showed somebody Reanimator not thinking about it. So
yeah, I showed my friends and like literally the opening scene with the doctor in his face. They were like, "The fuck's happening?" I was like, "What?" I was like, "This is nothing. What's happening?" I was so confused.
It was the Barbara Crampton, Dr. Hill scene.
Oh yeah,
that was the scene that got them. So I would say a good scare would be, I'd say It Follows would be a good one. The Autopsy of Jane Doe. These are newer movies, but if you want to go for something fun, Return of the Living Dead. If they have not seen that.
I don't know what I'd recommend.
Let's Scare Jessica to Death.
Well, in all seriousness, though, I would ask that person what scares you, and
that's funny. He says my his go-to has been Autopsy of Jane Doe. That's good. Sorry, Seth. Go ahead and finish your thought.
No, that was pretty much it. I would just ask, what scares you, and then kind of make a recommendation based on that. I would want to pick something that would affect them at least.
See, I'm the douche. It's like, here's Hereditary.
Yeah, here's something pretty hard. Here,
maybe
watch
like
Lucio Fulci's Zombie together.
Maybe like House of the Devil. I mean, that's not.
Yeah, but that's a slow burn, and that'll come off as, oh, this is boring. It's
true. Like, it depends on the person. It's very hard. It depends on the person, I guess.
Yeah, I think it really does depend on the person because there's so many different horror movies out there. And when Nate was talking about, movies like Beetlejuice or horror has the most subgenres of anything. There's action horror comedy. There's so many things. There's zombie movies and gorefest, giallo, slashers. So another one for me is Pet Sematary. I don't know what to say about this, but I watch it. I wait till October to watch it. They go through the seasons when the Creed family moves into the house, and it feels like fall. Like we talked about with the Blair Witch Project, it feels like it's a fall movie, and it feels like one of those movies you should watch when it's cold outside. And I always pair it up with the second one because the second one's underrated in my opinion.
I like it more.
And the second one takes place on Halloween at one point, so
I like the sequel more.
Do you really?
Yeah, I like it way more.
I can respect that. I can. That's the first time I've ever respected anything you've ever said.
Wow.
13 Ghosts is a good one, especially if we're talking about the 1960 version.
I'll say, are we talking about the original or the remake?
I like the remake. It's okay. It is what it is, but I prefer the original 13 Ghosts.
I've never seen the original. I like the remake, but I also, again, nostalgia. We had that on VHS, and I watched the crap out of it.
That's the best way to watch the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, in my opinion. So then we have Keith's last one. I think, or we did show all yours. We did do all yours, didn't we?
No.
Haunt. We had Haunt.
Yep. Yeah.
Monster House.
There we go.
Oh, Monster Squad. There we go.
Yeah.
Almost forgot about that. Remake. It's remakes. It is what it is.
Again,
Monster Squad. Let's talk about Monster Squad for a minute.
One of my first horror movie memories.
It's not a horror movie.
It's a horror movie. I don't know.
No, it is. It's 100%. I mean, this is the gateway horror movie for any kid, maybe 5 and up. You know, I mean, when I saw this, the first, you know what I wanted to do immediately? I want to start a monster club. You know, I wanted to start a horror monster club.
It's 80s PG rated.
And look at me now, I've got one. Spider with human head.
I don't know. It's just a fun movie.
Yeah, I don't know anybody that doesn't like Monster Squad. It's a really fun movie. It's got all the classic characters in it. There is a weird debate going on in film where it's Goonies or Monster Squad. You gotta like one or the other. Bitch, I love both. Okay.
I want to say though, I almost feel
they're
like
not the same.
The Wolfman in Monster Squad, I almost want to say is like the best werewolf ever. Like I love his makeup and the way he acts.
I'm waiting for Seth to clutch his pearls.
Like his makeup and the way he acts in the police department, like where he's going to change. Like it's so good. I would love a werewolf movie like that, like with that kind of Wolfman.
Seth, what do you got to say about that?
I don't disagree. That Wolfman is fantastic, and everything that happens to him throughout, you know, I like how kind of vicious in his movements as the way, and I also like how the very Larry Talbot like guy who doesn't want to be a werewolf, you know, and I also like how immortal he is, and you know, he can get fucking blown up and he still lives.
Well, I mean, they took the best parts of the werewolf mythology, the cursed werewolf, first of all, like you said, and put them all into this amalgamation of the werewolf and this. You know, it's the Wolf Man also. Yeah. It's not just like American Werewolf and London Werewolf.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It's
also
really
can't forget he's got nards.
Yeah, that's true. And I wonder if that would work on Larry Talbot. Probably. Now, the other thing I wanted to point out when you look at this picture, I mean, the creature from the Black Lagoon creature thing here, whatever you want to call that, Gillman looks amazing.
He does. I like his fins coming off the back of his head.
Yeah. He looks terrifying. I mean, the original creature looked terrifying too, but this one looks really terrifying. That was one of my favorite monsters from that movie.
He's more like he's more monstrous. He's non-humanoid looking. Like Creature from Black Lagoon has like more of a face to him. This has more of a fish.
Yeah. He's got kind of the predator mouth too.
Yeah, he's got spiky teeth.
Yeah. So we're done with you. We're going to go back through all these at the end of the show, even Jared's. Seth, I think we got Seth Pump, this one. Pumpkinhead.
Yeah. I know you don't care for it too much, but I love Pumpkinhead. I love the creature. I love the story of it too. And, you know, it is one of those rare horror movies that I think that has some growth with the characters, you know, with Ed Harley. You know, I understand his motivations, but I also like how he kind of regrets them later on. And then you have the kind of the counterbalance of that with the asshole character who kind of towards the end, he starts to realize that he did something bad too. You know, it's just cool. I love the way it's shot. I love all the stuff like when the monster attacks and just the big storm, you know. I don't know. I just love Pumpkinhead a lot. The first two, actually, I love a lot.
Yeah, Blood Wings is good.
I'll say I grew up watching it a lot because it was on Chiller or Sci-Fi a lot growing up for me. And I don't know. I was never like a big fan of the movie, but I love I feel like I always watch it just for Pumpkinhead. Like his character, like the monster design is
really cool.
So cool. And plus, I mean, it's Bishop. It is Bishop Vermillion, right? I'm okay. I'm not about to say. I was like, I'm not going to sound stupid, am I?
There's a screen still from the movie where you can see in full costume Pumpkinhead wearing tennis shoes because they didn't. Because they weren't. I'll find it. I'll show it to you. But I saw that. I'm like, what the fuck?
How would you guys feel if like Blumhouse or someone picked up Pumpkinhead? I feel like it has potential for like revival.
It does. So I don't not like Pumpkinhead. It's one I don't. I should have been better with what I said. It's one I don't go to very often because I don't connect with it, I guess. But for some reason, I fucking adore the second one. It doesn't make any sense to me. I don't know why. But you got the dad from Hellraiser who's playing the sheriff or something like that. He's a great character. Yeah. You got Mickey Dolenz' daughter, Amy Dolenz, in it, who's super pretty, and she was in Ticks. If you haven't seen Ticks, but for some reason I like the second one better. Even though I know the story for this one's really great, and I love the idea of like the folklore, the urban legend of Pumpkinhead. It's really cool. Luke, I wanted to ask if you're still out there. Did you draw Pumpkinhead yet?
I'm pretty sure he did.
I can't remember. He's been throwing so much stuff at me. It's like I can't keep up with what he's drawn. I do too. I think you're right. I agree, Keith. I think you got something there. And really, I think some of these classic monsters, Blumhouse, the way they treated Halloween, I think, and it's not just them, but I think and a lot of these other franchises they've done, they know how to make a horror movie. So, I haven't seen too many bad horror movies from Blumhouse. If there is one, let me know what it is.
Lights Out.
I didn't know Lights Out wasn't terrible. I didn't hate Lights Out. I was not as impressed. Like I remember when the trailers came out and people were talking about it, and I'm like, oh, I'll have to check it out. I finally watched it like last month, and I'm like, that's okay. It's not great, but
it's very okay.
It's no Malignant, that's for sure.
Malignant's so good.
I loved it. Let's see. I think Seth, we did all yours, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so
one last thing on Pumpkinhead is I love how Ed Harley kind of transforms with the Pumpkinhead towards the end. Like his eyes got more fucked up, and like the way he was seeing things from his perspective, just really cool. That Stan Winston directed it, so it's great on the visuals, in my opinion.
Yeah, it is. There's a lot there. Just maybe I need to watch it more and to not connect so much with the sequel. Again, and here, this is a problem with me. As I've told you guys, I saw the sequel first. So it was on USA or some shit.
I'm with you though, because the sequel is not bad at all. I think the sequel is a lot of fun.
Have you seen the other two?
I haven't seen 3 and 4 yet. No,
neither have I.
But like I like part 2 a lot. Especially the way, what was it that I can't remember the line exactly, but when Andrew Robinson kind of does that Pumpkinhead poem, there's something about like the way he says it and the way the camera's on, just really cool.
Jesus wept.
But I like the sequel. No, something different.
I did have an honorable mention, which I don't know if any of you have seen it, but I
still haven't done my last one yet.
Oh,
go ahead.
Damn it.
Go ahead.
Satan's Little Helper. I don't know if you've ever seen it. I rented it. Yeah. I rented it at Blockbuster a lot when I was a kid. And
you own it now?
I don't own it. I want to get it because I haven't seen it in years.
You need to.
And also, there's a sequel I've never even seen because Blockbuster never got it.
Really?
Yeah, but I don't know if it's good anymore. I used to watch as a kid, so I don't know how the quality has aged.
They've got a three pack with Satan's Little Helper, Spliced, and Blood Gnome.
I've never heard of the other.
For $15, yeah. Otherwise, good luck.
I'll just buy it and stick it in a case just with Satan's Little
Helper.
It's
OOP and no Blu-ray release. Calling Scream Factory again. All right, my final one, and we'll go through all of them rapid fire like. I think 2 is streaming. Pumpkinhead 2 is streaming somewhere. I've seen Satan's Little Helper. It's something.
Yeah, it's definitely something.
All right, my final one, and we've already talked about the original Night of the Living Dead, but I really enjoy the sequel or the remake, which I saw before I saw the original. Again, I have a problem. This movie was like I saw it in the fall of 1991, I believe. I was all by myself. My mom, it was Friday night bowling night. My mom was out bowling with my stepdad, and my brother and sister went. And Night of the Living Dead played on HBO or one of those channels, and I'm like, "Oh, Night of the Living Dead! I heard this is a great horror movie." But back then they didn't say, "Oh, this is Night of the Living Dead, 1968." They just said Night of the Living Dead. I was thrown off by it being in color because I knew it was in black and white. And I sat there and watched. I loved it though. I loved Patricia Tallman as Barbara. Tony Todd is fucking the best casting decision ever in a remake as Ben. Not to mention the cast around them is really good. And again, this gives me fall vibes. You know, Night of the Living Dead, the original one, definitely they talk about the time change at some point because you know Johnny's bitching about something, but about driving up to see Mother or whatever. And then yeah, there we go.
The best part about the remake, Barbara is a useful character.
Yeah, it's a big change.
But I get it's a when it was made thing. I comprehend that for people who are going to say stuff, but
yeah, but I like that they did that because when I went, so like right after I saw this, the summer after that, we had a baseball game in this town that's got this great dirt mall, flea market, and we went to the flea market and I saw for $5 Night of the Living Dead, the classic. I made sure I looked to see if it said 1968 on the bottom, fine print, and it said 1968, so I bought it. And I got to be honest, when I saw it, I was like, "Fuck this movie compared to the other one. The other one's way better. Barbara sucks in this movie,
Yeah.
And again, I like the performances around everybody, but Barbara was awful in that. But it's grown on me over the years. It's just seeing something early, before the original. It's hard to, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah.
Also, those of you that voted in the bracket and made Friday the 13th beat Night of the Living Dead,
what are you thinking?
You're high and you're lying to yourself that Friday the 13th is better than that movie.
So the brackets again, you guys suggested what went into the brackets, and you put Friday the 13th in there. I toyed with the option of putting Friday the 13th 4 or Jason Lives in there, but I was like, no. Those can win the whole fucking thing. So I took them out. I was like, let's just throw the other one in there because it may have a chance, it may not. And it could be moving on to the final two of this first bracket. What are you thinking? Night of the Living Dead 1990 is way better than Friday the 13th. I will not say it's better than Jason Lives or the final chapter, but anyway, I was mad. I was mad when I saw that. I was like,
crazy.
Fuck, I'm done with the Horror Syndicate. It's the name Friday the 13th. Everybody loves Friday the 13th. Anyway.
I'm also annoyed that Train to Busan lost to Lost Boys, but I'm also not a Lost Boys fan, so
Lost
I can't say anything.
Versus Return of the Living Dead tomorrow, I guarantee it. And then Return of the Living Dead's gonna win. That's what I think. And then we'll start the next bracket on Friday. I need a day off. Night of the Living Dead is definitely better than Friday the 13th. The original Friday the 13th, yes. The original Friday the 13th isn't even the best movie in its fucking series.
Nope.
So let's go ahead and go through
past the middle of my rankings.
Right.
It's not even better than the original Night of the Living Dead.
No. I thought tonight was going to be about how awesome Halloween 4 is. Yeah. Well, Halloween 4 is awesome. Don't worry. We'll get to that by time.
We were making a thumbnail and Ray sent that to me, and I was like, I thought we weren't doing Halloween.
It was.
We're gonna make the.
It was a tease. It was like, oh look, could it be Halloween? Could it not be Halloween? It was a tease. Plus we've talked about. I love the opening credits for Halloween 4.
All this pictures I could find of this, like this part of this movie, looked like ass.
Yeah.
Like I put it in Instagram and like changed the lighting on it because it was like super dark.
Yeah, they're screen grabs, low res,
I'll get a screen grab when my 4K comes in.
I can't watch Friday the 13th in October, by the way. I don't know why, but I can't. Or Nightmare on Elm Street. I'm not wired that way. All right, let's go through all the movies, starting with Keith's. We'll name them, and then we'll move on pretty fast, and then we'll end the show. I love Nightmare on Elm Street, Halloween. Yeah. I do too. Elm Street's my favorite of the series, and I think I like Halloween more than Friday the 13th. Friday the 13th is the movie that you put on with your friends. Anyway, not the first one. No.
And you poke out about how Pamela can't be here at this time in the movie.
I just really I don't want to watch the first one almost ever. So anyway, here we go. We've got Haunt, which I believe is on Shudder. Definite must watch for the Halloween season.
Underrated, underseen, maybe.
Yeah, probably. Well, one problem is the Blu-ray is very expensive, so you can't get it on
Well,
DVD
a standard release just came out finally.
Did it? Okay.
Yeah, instead of the special pack thing.
Is that what it was?
Yeah, it was like you could only order it from Ronin Flicks, and it came with like magnets, like a bunch of posters, and pins.
Okay.
Yeah, like I have a poster of like the map of the haunted house.
Well, that's cool. Well, send me a link whenever you get a chance.
Okay.
Monster House. I'm gonna have to watch this with the kids this weekend. I've heard from two people that's fun. Monster Squad. Monsters. Sleepy Hollow. These are all Keith's picks. And then Trick or Treat rounds out his 5. And then Nate's picks are The Blair Witch Project, The Old Dark House, Dark Night of the Scarecrow. I could not find a decent image from that movie. So this is cool, right?
Yeah.
I like this. The guy's chasing some guy. That looks fucked up. Ed Wood, which technically isn't a horror film, but it's about a horror movie being made. And we go into my picks. Oh, we forgot. We'll get to that one later. Dracula from 1931, Universal classic. I think all Universal movies should be shown in October. The Horror of Dracula, Hammer Pictures. Night of the Living Dead, 1990. Pet Sematary, the original. And then couple that up with the sequel and The Dog Zowie. Son of Frankenstein, I love it. Broken Neck. Seth's picks start with Fright Night. Frankenstein meets the Wolfman and they hug it out. Pumpkinhead. And these are in no order. And Psycho 2, it's not like a 1 through 5 or anything like that. It's just how I put the caption for the movie. Like, this is Seth Pump, which sounds kind of nasty and dirty. Seth Pump. And then Hellbound Hellraiser 2, it just says Seth Hell. And then let's see, this is the Lady in White that Nate was talking about, which is out of print. You may be able to find it streaming somewhere. I couldn't find it. And then Jared, he's not with us right now, but he's with us in our hearts and souls. Beetlejuice, which is a fantastic movie. It's a good one to watch in October, in my opinion. The Exorcist, you can watch this anytime, but yeah, this is a spooky movie. Watch with the lights off. Make sure you got like a surround sound or a sound bar so you can get that's the sounds that are happening behind you, because that happens and it's creepy. If you ever see this playing in a theater, go see it. It's worth it. Night of the Living Dead, 1968, the original. Trick or Treats, again. So 2 people recommend this. I think that tells you that you should watch it if you haven't seen it. And learn the rules of Halloween with Trick or Treat and The Barn. The Barn you can pick up on DVD or Blu-ray from ScreamTeamReleasing.com. They'll send it out to you, and they've got all kinds of goodies there as well, including Mike Lombardo's I'm Dreaming of White Doomsday, The Sleeper, 1031 Part 1 and Part 2, and Nate's movie. Well, he has a part, he does a part in Volumes of Blood. So check it out. And those are our picks for spooky season watching. Yeah, I guess it does. I like that mask he's got on his head. Yeah, check out The Barn. Order a copy, ScreamTeamReleasing.com. I'm gonna I'll tell Justin that I sent you, or tell him that I sent you. He knows who I am, I think. He sends me movies every now and again. Let's do some final thoughts and we'll wrap up the episode. Spooky season is upon us. It is time to watch horror, especially for the regular people. Seth, you got anything for the fine people?
No, I'm say no to drugs, stay in school,
What have you watched so far this October? Anything?
I watched Son of Frankenstein and Ghost of Frankenstein. I watched The Evil of Frankenstein. I watched the original Night of the Living Dead, and I started The Omen before the show tonight.
Oh, that's actually a kind of a good one too to watch during this season. Yeah, this is the holiday season for us. I would ask Keith what he's been watching, but it's all James Bond apparently.
Hey, I gotta get ready for the movie. I got 2 more to watch to show Kayla. I mean, I don't
technically you have 22 more or
I
something
just
like
watched Dangle Crate. I can't. I don't know if I've watched any horror movies recently. I mean,
well,
I just watched
The Mummy
2
and
of
Curse of
them.
Frankenstein.
I can't remember if I watched anything else. Not that I can think of, unless it was something I've already seen. I did think of some other honorable mentions.
Okay.
The Changeling. I feel like that's very
good haunted house movie. Yeah.
Exactly. Prom Night 2.
Yeah, love that
And
movie.
The Frighteners. I feel like
with
that
Michael J. Fox, Peter Jackson. Yeah, it's a really good one. Back to Prom Night 2. Roman from Scream Queens says that is the sister movie of Elm Street 2.
I can see that.
Yeah, totally. I love it.
It's great. It needs a Blu-ray release.
Yeah. Halloween Kills is all I'm excited for. I'm really stoked. We're going to do a pregame show about everything we know except for Seth because he knows everything. Mr. Spoiler Reader.
Yeah.
But we're gonna talk about what we know and what we would like to see, and maybe even talk about what we want in the future. This will be our last Halloween Kills like theory show. We've done 2 of them already, but I'm really hyped on it. The Haunting, 1963, good movie, not 1999. So that'll be. Are we doing that next Tuesday? Because you guys are seeing the movie on Thursday, right?
I'm gonna try to, yeah.
So we'll be back next Tuesday, not Thursday. We'll be back on Thursdays the week after that. But we're going to try to have a show on either Friday or Saturday after we've all seen the movie, just covering all of Halloween Kills as spoiler-free as we can be. I did see a review today. JoeBlow.com did a review, and they gave it an 8 out of 10. And it said, now my prediction was that it will enhance the 2018 movie, which I'm kind of lukewarm on. So that's exactly what I've been saying, haven't I? Said I think it's going to increase how I feel about the 2018 movie. So Chucky series, yes. I saw the Chucky series. I saw a new trailer for that. I got a little more hyped about it. I know you did last summer series. Looks like shit in my opinion. And Summer Party Massacre. The only thing I have a problem with that is it's on a cable channel that will not show nudity. And I'm sorry, and maybe it's the pervert in me, but Slumber Party Massacre should have nudity in it.
I agree, because Slumber Party Massacre, I didn't see it until like a year or 2 ago, but it is like the perfect like horror cliche checklist movie.
Yeah.
Like it's literally horror cliche in a movie.
Yeah, please show me the boobies. And as for me, I'm going to read off what I've watched in October real fast, so you guys have about 7 minutes. I've gone, and all I've watched is horror this month. I've gone to the point where I've taken a mini DVD player with me to work to watch horror movies, because when it gets to October, there's something like clicks on with me, and it's mostly just here. The October 1st was The Evil of Frankenstein. Frankenstein created woman. Frankenstein must be destroyed, all in one day. Those go by fast, though. The Hammer movie go by fast. And Saturday, October 2nd, was Pet Sematary 2, Flesh Eater, underrated movie, Bill Hinsman from Night of the Living Dead, Dracula, 1931, and The Mummy, 1932. Then Frankenstein, Young Frankenstein, and The Horror of Frankenstein, which was odd because there was no Peter Cushing. Then on October 4th, which was yesterday, Prince of Darkness, Dracula has Risen from the Grave, and Bride of Frankenstein. And then today it's been Taste the Blood of Dracula, which I watched at work. And then Dracula 1979 with Frank Langella. So I need a movie for tonight. I don't know what I'm going to watch yet. Something horror, I'm sure.
I lied. I have watched some movies.
Okay.
I watched that Alone in the Dark.
Oh, yeah, I got that in my cart.
It's not as good as I was expecting it to be.
I've heard it's not good at all.
It's got some cool stuff in it. Donald Pleasant's character's fucking weird.
Yeah.
He's just like a hippie doctor who's just like, living free through life. And then I watched Elvira, Mistress of the Dark, and the House on Haunted Hill during her
That
show,
was-
and then
that was-
I passed the fuck out, so I didn't
I gotta
watch the
tell you,
other
I
two
hated
movies.
watching that.
Yeah, she's a lot different than Joe Bob.
She's annoying. I'm sorry, Elvira is really annoying. Like she popped up, like, you know, the scene where they're showing the faces, like just
Yeah,
the
she
floating head.
green screened her head
I'm
in
like,
there.
get the fuck out of here, Elvira. It's like, go, I want to watch this movie. I don't want to see you talking about driving your car and shit. Yes,
forget-
Satanic Rites of Dracula comes after Scars of Dracula and Dracula 72, so I gotta watch those first.
Yep, I was about to say,
Yep.
don't forget
Joe
Friday's
Bob.
Joe
Yeah.
Bob.
Yep, I will not be able to watch it. I will be out to dinner. I'll watch it. I'll have to watch it after the fact.
How late are you going to be out to dinner? It doesn't start till like what, 9, 10?
For you, it starts
Oh.
earlier for me.
True.
Dinner plans are about 7:30. I probably won't get home till after midnight anyway, because you know how it is when you go out with your friends.
Not me. I'm tired. I'm going home. See you guys.
Well, my friend's in town from California. It's her last night, so we're gonna make a night of it.
Gotcha.
So hopefully, anyway. That's our show. We will be back on Tuesday again next week. We weren't gonna have a show this week, but I got fucking antsy. I guess this is like an addiction. I can't go a week without having a show. So I've been fucking extremely busy doing brackets and my kids' school shit, which is getting annoying. But anyway, it's the fucked up thing about October is how much I anticipate it, and I love it about halfway through, and then by the end of the month, I'm like, come on, let's get this over with already. So I'm at a huge high right now. I hope you guys are too. I hope you're watching horror movies. Get on Shudder. Watch. There's a lot of good stuff on Shudder. Joe Bob Friday, Halloween Kills next Thursday, Friday. So on Peacock. So if you don't want to go to the theater, I've already got. So I'm thinking for myself. My kids will be in school. I'm going to try to catch an early show on Friday and go see it by myself. They want to see it too, but I want to see it, without having the Helena, be quiet, Will, sit down, because I have to do that during a lot of the movies we see together. So I'm going to hopefully see Halloween on Friday. Hopefully they have it showing in the morning. If not, I'll watch it on Peacock and go later on with the kids.
I'm already annoyed because my preferred theater, they're not putting it in the auditorium where they have a Dolby Atmos system, and it's annoying. Yeah. They put Venom in there, but not Halloween Kills.
Sayonara, arrivederci, hasta la vista, baby. Anyway, we'll be back on Tuesday. We're going to talk some Halloween Kills and the future of Halloween. Seth has an idea. What is it? Halloween 2028, 50 years later.
Yeah, it's going to be a real family-friendly one. Michael is released after rehabilitation. By the way, we're just going to call it Halloween. We're not going to give it another title. So that way there's 4 movies called Halloween. He's going to go back to Haddonfield to seek forgiveness, and he's going to save a bunch of kittens and puppies, and he's going to help the elderly across the road until his straight white psychologist comes to town to mansplain everything, and then Michael teams up with the townspeople. It's going to be rated PG for mild language and a brief moment of violence. But yeah.
Tobacco consumption.
Yeah. So real fast, I almost forgot. They somebody has a change.org thing going on right now to try to get them to remove the fireman massacre at the beginning of Halloween Kills. That's ridiculous. If you've seen that, we'll put it up on the screen next week. I was going to do it tonight, but I was like, we're going to talk about Halloween Kills next week.
There's also one to get Busta Rhymes in Halloween Kills.
Let's do it.
It's like, no.
Is it Ice Cube? No, who is it? LL Cool J.
LL Cool J?
Neither.
Let's get LL Cool J, Busta Rhymes in there, and we'll
but Busta Rhymes would be perfect in Halloween Kills because he could literally say, "You're looking a little crispy there, Mikey." Like, and it would make sense.
It's true.
Stop.
It is 100% true. All right. Well, thank you for joining us. We will see you next week. This is like This is like Return of the King. We've had so many endings in this episode. You guys have a good night, and here's Christopher Lee.